to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we've got a puzzle called the Wings of Pentagon for you by Niverio, and this is just a normal killer Sudoku today. We don't get to do normal killer Sudoku very often on the channel, and when we do them, they tend to be absolutely exceptional. And Niverio's puzzles are always exceptional, but this one, I just had a look at it on Logic Masters Germany, and there is there's an amazing compliment from Phistomefel about this puzzle, where he describes this puzzle as sensationally beautiful. Now that's I think that would be one of my ambitions in life, to create a Sudoku that Phistomefel calls sensationally beautiful. So Niverio, I think you've achieved an ambition there, or at least an ambition of mine, and I'm looking forward to trying this. The only thing I'm slightly perplexed by is why it's called the Wings of Pentagon. For some reason my brain wants to read this as the Wings of Pegasus, but it clearly isn't that. It might, I suppose that's a pentagon. The given digits are a pentagon. And the cages are very symmetrical. I don't know whether it's meant to look like the building, the Pentagon. In America, maybe. I don't quite know. But anyway, Niverio may watch the video and make comments. So any enlightenment would be most welcome. Now, I've got a few things to mention before I read you the rules of the puzzle. Let's start off with the fact that today is World Mental Health Day. And when Mark and I started the channel all those years ago, and even when the channel became popular, we had absolutely no idea that the channel and the videos that we make do seem to have a positive impact on people's mental health. And it's completely humbling when we find out about this. And we do actually now regularly get a couple of emails every day that talk about how Cracking the Cryptic is helping people mentally. I thought I might share with you a couple of recent emails on an anonymized basis, just because I think it's rather special. So I'll start with this one. I have to say thank you for these puzzles. I am an engineer and a mathematician, and logic and numbers have always been my forte all my life. But when I got COVID a few months ago, I experienced panic that I wasn't able to calculate the area of a regular hexagon, not even with a calculator. COVID seriously impacted my brain's ability for several weeks, and it undermined my own sense of self, if this makes sense. Not being able to trust myself when dividing 12 by 4 was absolutely terrifying. A few weeks ago I stumbled on CTC, and at first I just watched the videos, and then I started trying to do some puzzles, and I was still making a ton of pedestrian logic mistakes, but it was great to be able to rely on the videos to help me figure out my mistakes, and slowly and surely I've got better at it, and at the same time the effects of COVID seem to have gone away. This person completed all 14 of the puzzles in our Duality Hunt, which is a tremendous thing. And they say that I'm pleased to say with logic and not deep bifurcations, it's restored my self-confidence in my brain working again. And they go on to say, I've almost done all the puzzles in the 500,000 subscriber special pack with only the last couple to do. And I feel so proud of myself now. And of course, they should feel proud of themselves. What an incredible thing. And we get quite a lot of emails about people who have experienced brain fog with COVID. So if you do know anyone who's in that position, show them one of our videos, see if it helps them. Then I'll read you this one as well, which said, as cliched as it sounds, I want to thank you both from the bottom of my heart for saving my life. The pandemic has been so hard. As a single parent whose partner lives in another country, it adds an extra level of loneliness. And it was at a particularly low and depressed moment that my partner showed me the miracle Sudoku. It was just so wholesome, and at a time when it felt like the entire world was burning down around me, it helped. The pandemic is still hard, especially for us disabled folk, and it still gets lonely. But watching your videos each night has become a bit of a touchstone for us, and whenever I need an extra pick-me-up, I go back to the miracle. It is heartwarming for us to hear these sorts of stories. And for all of you out there, anybody who's feeling anxious or lonely or, I don't know, stressed or suffering from insomnia, we hope that we help a little bit. These videos weren't designed for that, but they do seem to make a difference. So if you know anybody who might be suffering, especially on today, World Mental Health Day, maybe let them know about CTC and maybe you can help them. Anyway, right, let's move on to less serious matters. Oh, yes, well, in fact, we'll start with last night's stream, where Mark and I, we attempted to do the last two puzzles from our own app. Now, I will start by talking about Jovial's puzzle, which I attempted. That is one of the greatest Sudokus, full stop, I have ever done in my life. It is an unbelievable puzzle. What Jovial has created is quite extraordinary. It is a killer Sudoku, like today's puzzle. And if you have any love of killer Sudoku, if you watch this video and enjoy killer Sudoku and think, oh, I'd like to do more of those, check out that puzzle, which is number 23. It's the very final puzzle in our free app. You can get the app completely free. Just go to the App Store, type in Cracking the Cryptic. You'll find it there, and work your way through to the last puzzle. It's called Miser, and it is sublime. It is a work of genius. So thank you, Jovial, for making me literally lose my mind in the stream last night. Now, the other thing that some of you ask to see more often is when we can't solve a puzzle. And believe it or not, Mark did get stuck yesterday quite badly on Udakos's puzzle. So if you have a bit of Schadenfreude in you, or a certain amount of sadism, watch the stream for that reason, and you'll see Mark struggle. Now, next, lots of you are asking when our Kickstarter is launching for our new book. That we think is going to be Wednesday night at 8:30 UK time. As soon as I have that finally confirmed, I will let you know. But yeah, that's when it looks like it's going to happen. Next, I've got to read out the names of loads of you who've managed to solve Duality, which is the 14 puzzle Sudoku Hunt over on Patreon at the moment. The number of entries we have from that has been absolutely extraordinary. I am so proud of so many of you who have written and said you can't believe you've managed to achieve getting through it. You didn't expect to. Several of you, I think, worked your way through to the first 4 puzzles and solved that, and then thought, well, I've done 4, maybe I could do a few more. And the amount of hours that have been devoted to this, I mean, it's just incredible. The response is incredible. Anyway, very well done to Thomas Sylvester, Brendan Roberts, Jacob Hanna, Steve Williams, Simon Hudd, enjoy Muirfield. I'm very jealous, Simon. Juha Matti Heikkinen, Rob Driscoll over there in Oklahoma City, who let us know how much it would cost in terms of how much he would bill for the hours he spent on the pack. It was a very large number of thousands. So Rob, I'm sorry about that. Sampath Kumar, John Alistair Warwicker, slightly simpler Simon, John Bruns, or it could be Bruns, I'm not sure, Andrew Pippin, Alex Plunkett, Anna Chiara Bellini, and Arjen Kramer. All of you, fantastic work. And happy birthday today to James from your wife Amy. James, she says you're a wonderful husband, so good job there, and I hope you have, of course, lots and lots of cake. And with all that said and done, long intro today, but I hope you don't mind. Sometimes we like to get a bit serious. Let's have a look at the Wings of Pentagon by Niverio. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage, and digits cannot repeat within a cage. So that tells us those 3 cells sum to 16, but we couldn't do it like this, because although those 3 digits do add up to 16, you have repeated the 5 naughtily. You mustn't be naughty if you want to solve the puzzle correctly. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link in the video description under the video. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And the first thing I'm seeing here is that there's something going on with geometry, isn't there? Looks like there's clearly a relationship, to me at least, between this cell and this cell in terms of their quantum. And we can work out that relationship because of a secret. And that's something I only tell my very favourite people. I feel a bit croaky today, actually. Hope I'm not losing my voice. That would be a disaster. But anyway, the secret is it's related to the sum of all of the digits in a box of a Sudoku, or indeed a row or a column of a Sudoku. Because of the rules of Sudoku, we know this box contains the numbers 1 to 9 once each. If you add up the digits 1 to 9, you get the number 45. So, we know that those cells sum to 45, but we also know, don't we, that those cells sum up to something else. They sum up to 2851 is the number I'm getting there. I hope that's correct. So if we sort of remove those which are common to both sets of digits, or both sets that we just highlighted, we know that this digit here has to be 6 more than this digit, I think, in order for the maths to work. So let's test that out and see whether I've just made an absolute ricket. So if it's got to be 6 more, it can't actually be 6, so it's going to have to be at least 7. So if that's 7, we could then see these would add up to 16. 16 plus 15 plus 13 is, I think, 44, which would make this a 1. Yeah, so we have got that right. So this has got to be 7, 8 or 9, and this has got to be 1, 2 or 3. Now, I don't know if we can improve upon that. I don't know. The other thought that occurs to me here is if I get rid of the colouring of the orange digit now, the blue digit has to live somewhere in box 1, and it can't repeat in its own cage, and it can't repeat in its own row. So this digit here is in one of those cells, which is perhaps not important. Okay, but we can do exactly the same thing, look, with this box, can't we? Because again, we know the sum of these digits. It is 2738, I believe. I'm just double checking that, because of course if you get the sum wrong here, you could go down a lot of wrong paths in the puzzle. So these add up to 38, but these add up to 45. So and these are common to both of those sums. So this has obviously got to be very large compared to this. It's got to be 7 greater. So there aren't actually many options then again, are there? So if this was 1, which it could be, actually let's give it a big 1 to celebrate its onefulness. This would be 11, 22, 37, this would be 8. Yeah, so there is a relationship of 7 between those, which is what we were expecting. So this square here has to be 1 or 2, and this has to be 8 or 9. And unfortunately, both of those seem to be possible. And we don't... Well, it looks like it's trying to develop a sort of 1, 2, 8, 9 quadruple in the top row, which would require us to be able to get rid of 7 from this cell. Although 7, oh no, that doesn't work, does it? Because 7 was associated with 1, if I remember rightly. So if that's 7, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 9. And that's all possible. Okay, but I'm going to carry on doing this because it looks very much like Niverio has set all of these corner boxes, these corner 3x3s up in the same way. So here we know that those cells sum up to, let's use a different colour again, they sum up to 40, but we know these sum up to 45. Let's remove the common digits from those things. So this one's got to be greater than this one by 5, I think. And therefore, this can't be 6 though, so I think that's got to be 7, 8 or 9. And this has got to be 2, 3 or 4, I want to say. So let's double check our maths, make sure it works. If this is 2, this is 18. 18 and 20 is 38, which means this would have to be a 7. So they are 5 apart indeed. So it's all sensible, but it's not really resolving itself, is it? I can't see the relationship yet. Maybe this one will provide everything we need to know. And again, we've got the same sort of thing going on. Let's make that red this time. We've got 20, oh, we've got 50 this time. So this is going to be the other way round. We've got 50 there, and those only add up to 45. So let's remove the common digits. We know that this, for that to be true, this is going to have to be 5 greater than this one. And again, this one can't be a 1, so that's going to have to be a 2. Oh, and it can't, okay, that one can't be a 4 either. So this is 2 or 3, and this is 5 greater, 7 or 8. Let's double check the maths is working. This is 8, this is 22. That 22 plus 20 is 42. The box adds to 45, so that would be a 3. So the 8 and the 3 are paired off, and that does make sense. So we arrive at this little colourful arrangement, which actually probably we don't need the colours anymore. It's a pity to make the puzzle chromatically boring, but we're going to do it. And we've got something going on there, haven't we? So these are 6 apart. So I want to say, have we got the opportunity? You know, can we force the same digits in here or something? That is the question that I'm asking myself. Unfortunately, I don't know if I've got a good answer to this. So if this is 7, no, I don't want to choose 7 because that's going to put 1 here. I want to put something that affects this. If this is 8, this is 2. Aha! Aha! Right. Okay, well that's not 8. Yes, okay, there's a simple, the simple way of seeing this is just to, well, it's not simple to see this any other way. But because these have a relationship of 6 between them and these have a relationship of 5 between them, you can see that by making this 8, this 2, that becomes 3 and that becomes 8 again. So there is a sort of cycle that you can appreciate, which is rather cute. But that means that's not 8 and it means that's not 2. Now, the problem here is that now if I make this 9, this will be 3, that will be 2, and that will be 7, and that's fine. Okay, so that's not actually going to butter our parsnips, is it? And what was the relationship here? We had a 7 relationship between those two digits, didn't we? And what was the relationship? 5. It's only 5 down there. So that suggests that, he says, trying to work out what it might suggest. Okay, so if that's 8, that's 1. No, I don't want to do. No, it's a bit more. It's a bit stickier actually in the bottom row, I think. I think it's a bit stickier because I'm not sure how to, or whether I can actually get rid of anything here. I suppose I've got to get rid of something down here because I've got to force this digit. So let me, I was trying up here, but maybe I try down here to do it. So if this is 2 and 7, so let's try 3 and 8. No, that's just not going to cause a problem. That makes this 9 and this 2. 4, 9 makes this 8 and this 1. There's nothing going on. Okay, so that's a concern, isn't it? 2, no, and in the bottom row I haven't got it going on either. So what is going on? Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. I know what's going on. Bent triples are going on. Oh, that's really that's really beautiful. I love that. That is very unusual. Right, okay. So, bent triples. What are bent triples? Well, they have a technical term, which is Y-wing, but I find that very unilluminating. So, the way I think about bent triples, look at those digits. And imagine those digits were all in the same row or column of a Sudoku. Well, we'd instantly be able to say, oh, that's a 1, 2, 3 triple. That's useful. We could eliminate 1s, 2s, and 3s from the rest of the column if these were in a column together. But when they're remote like this, you can still do little tricks. Because this digit, if this is a 1, that becomes a 2. And if it's a 3, which is the only other thing it could be, that becomes a 2. And that means in this puzzle, there is a 2 in one of those cells. There could be a 2 in both of them, but there must be a 2 in at least one of them. And therefore, that cell can't be a 2 anymore, because it sees both of these. So whichever one of these is 2 is going to knock 2 out of that one. And 2 goes with 7. So now I've got an 8-9 pair. Oh, no, I'm going to do it again. Oh, that's beautiful, Niverio. That is so beautiful. Right. Now I'm going to do it again with those, because it's the same. Actually, I'm not going to use blue. I'm going to use purple, because I want to. This is a bent triple as well, on 7, 8, and 9. So if that's 7, that's 8. If that's 9, that's 8. And that knocks 8 out of this and makes that a 9, which makes this an 8. And now we can use the actual relationships between these digits. We know that, I can't remember what the one up there was. It was a 7 relationship, wasn't it? So that must be a 1, which makes this a 3. These two were, well, it must be taking the bigger digit. They were 6 apart. That makes this a 2, which means that's a 7. And that's a 9, so that's a 4. And all of a sudden, out of absolutely nowhere, we've got all of these digits sorted out. And, well, it's highly, highly original as well. So it's a lovely trick. So what Niverio's done is to basically, I can sort of imagine how he's created this. He's thought, Y-wings are interesting. How do I set them up in a killer Sudoku? And then he's had this beautiful idea of just using sticky out cages to force relationships between certain digits. And then the geometry's sort of fallen out into a lovely pattern. Oh, he must have been so happy when he came up with this. That is quality. But having said it's quality, I've got to figure out how to solve the puzzle. Now, 1 second while I try and do that. 6 is a bit restricted up here now. Can 6 go in the 11 cage? Yes, is the short answer to that. 4 can't repeat in the 20 cage down there, so 4 lives in one of those cells where... okay, that is useful, because once there's 4 in the 14 cage, the other 2 digits in the cage add up to 10. And they can't be 4, 6, because you'd repeat, well, you'd have 2 6s and 2 4s in the box. They can't be 1, 9. And they can't be 2, 8, because neither of these cells can be 2, 8, and you can't make that a Schrodinger cell. It can't be simultaneously 2 and 8. So that's 3, 4, and 7, which means these cells are now known. They're 1, 2, 5, and 8, which means that cell at the bottom is 5 or 8. In fact, I have got 6 digits in the bottom row. 3, 5, and... bobbins. 3, 5, and 8 to place. No joy there, I don't think. What do we do next? Maybe we say 7 can't repeat in the 30 cage, so that goes in the 12 cage, along with 2 more digits that add up to 12, therefore, which are not going to be 5, 7, but could be 4, 8, could they? Maybe. Or 3, 9. If it was 3, 9, the 3 would go here. Does that break this? That would have to be 5, 8. It would do a lot of damage, actually, if this was 3, 7, 9. I don't know. I don't know if I can tell. This is not 4, 9. Oh, Right, okay, so it's this 9, I think, is probably... Oh, this is good. Yes. Where does 9 go in this box is the question I should have asked. Well, it doesn't go in there because it would repeat within its cage. And it doesn't go in the 13 cage because it would need a 4 with it. So it goes in the 15 cage, in one of those two cells, where it has to be accompanied by 2 digits that add to 6 that are not 1 and 5. So that's 2, 4, 9. Which means that we've got a 2 in one of those two cells by Sudoku and a 4 in one of those cells. Now, does that... Can't remember what we were looking for in here. Surely, I think that is useful, isn't it? Because the 19 was looking... We were looking for 12 more, and we can't put 4, 8 in there now. Yes, and it can't put 5, 7, so we know what this is. This is 3, 7, 9, and the 3 goes here. So 3 goes in. 7 and 9 look up at the 13 cage, which must be 5, 8 now, because it can't be 6, 7 or 4, 9. These digits are now known. That's not 9, I've just seen. These digits are 1. Oh, that one's not 1. 1, 6, 7. Let's just double check the maths on this box. Yes, that does add up to 23, so that's good. And if this is 1, 6, 7, we can put 6 into here by Sudoku in box 7. 3 comes out of here, look. This is 4, 5 and 8 to make the box work. And if this is 4, 5 and 8, those cells are known to be 2, 3 and 9. Why have I pencil marked 3s into those? I think I was intending to pencil mark 2s, looking at the 2 I've got over there. So that was a bit of a ricket. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned actually, and I will mention it now because I've just remembered it. In yesterday's video, right at the end, I made a mistake. I said, this cage needs to add up to 12, and it was a 3-cell cage. And then I highlighted 2 of the cells in the cage and made them add up to 12, neglecting the fact there was a 1 in the cage with it. Now, unfortunately, because it was so late in the solve, it didn't change any of the logic going forward, but it did work in terms of the software. So I didn't pick up that I'd made the error. I did put, because I noticed it while I was editing the video yesterday, I did put something in the video description to say, oops, there's a boo-boo right at the end. But many of you didn't read the video description, so the comments yesterday were all about how I'd made a mistake at the end, which I did make. I'm really sorry. I didn't think that the video shouldn't go out because there was an error in it, because it was so late on, and it was clearly just a tiny arithmetic error and just switched a couple of digits in the final grid. So I'm sorry if that confused anyone. And yeah, I did try and draw attention to it, but failed to do it perhaps. I probably should have put a pinned comment, but I normally like to use the pinned comments in the videos for the constructors if they have any comments on the videos, and FJam did comment on the video yesterday. So I used it for that instead. So anyway, that's all a long-winded way of telling you the story of yesterday's puzzle, while my brain was buying time to work out what I've got to do in this puzzle. Now, what's going on in this? Oh, okay, well, there's got to be a 9 in here now, because 2 plus 3 is only 5, and that would require this to be a 10. So that's not 9. So we can say, therefore, that... Oh, well, this is lovely. Okay, because this is not 9 double 3, because that will repeat the 3 in the cage. So it's 2, 9, and 4, and that's become a 3. And there's a 2 in one of these cells now. And a 9... 9 can't go in the 8 cage. 3 here is putting a 3 in my 14 cage by Sudoku, which is placing my 7 and my 9 in box 7, which is knocking 4 out of that cell, seems to require it to go there. This is so smooth now, isn't it? I shouldn't have said that. That was completely and utterly mad for me to say that. That's a 3 in the bottom row, because now when it all goes wrong, I will feel like a prize Charlie. Now, this 8 cage is now not 2, 6, and it's not 3, 5, so it must be 1, 7, and there's a 7 there. So that's 7, that's 1 by Sudoku. What's the missing digit? 9. I've not put 9 in row 7, so that goes there. This is 2, 5, or 8. 9 goes here in the middle box by Sudoku. Outrageous, Niverio, making me do Sudoku in your Sudoku puzzle. And for our next trick, we will argue about the nature of... I don't know what we need to do here. Come on, brain, have an idea. No, brain is being recalcitrant. 4, 7. Naughty brain, come on. Have a sensible thought. Look, there's a 7 up there. I don't think I know in which position it lives. So how do we do this then? Oh, I see. Ah, yeah. Oh, that's very pretty as well. Good grief. Right, look at this box. Where does 9 go in this box? Well, it's obviously not in these cells because we have a 9 here. And it can't go in an 11 cage because it would have to be accompanied with double 1, which would break the rules of Sudoku for all sorts of reasons. So it goes on the 15 cage. But we can actually do better than that. Because, look, this is a 15 cage, which is 249. So this can't be 249, or this digit would be broken. So this must be 159, which means that's not a 1, which means the 1 in box 1 goes here. This is now an 8, this is a 5, that's a 5 by Sudoku. Now can I do that? I probably can. That must be 4, 7, I think. Can't be 2, 9, can't be 3, 8, can't be 5, 6, so that is 4, 7. Which gives me a 4, 7 pair in column 8. That's now a 6, that's a 7. That's a 2. This is a 4. That's a 9. So those two digits are now known. They're a 2, 3 pair, and the 7 gets placed. And can I do the 2? And I can't do the 2 and the 3. But I can do the 4. 4 and the 8 go in. This is no longer 8. What about this column now? I need to put 8 in it, and I need to put 2 in it. Ah, well that's useful, because I haven't put 2 in it yet, I've suddenly realised. So that's 2, that's 8, that's not 8, that's not 7, that's possibly anything at all. This 2 gives me a 5 here, which means I've got a 5 here, I've got a 2, 8 pair here, it's not resolved. These two squares, I can put the 8 in here. That's got to be 6, so that's got to be 8, that's got to be 5. And stuff's getting done in the bottom of the grid. But we have not... that's a 9, because it can't be a 1 or a 5. And we now know the contents of this. Oh, this is it. This is 2, 3, 6 in the 11 cage, and that can't be a 2 or a 3. So that's 6. That's 6. Oh, no, there's a 6 in one of those. Can we put 6 in the 16 cage? It would then need 2 more digits that added up to 10, which I think it can do. Looks like it could be a 7 here and a 3. Not sure whether it can be 2, 8. I think the 8 would have to go there if that case. That would be... No. Okay, interesting. It can't be 2, 8. Can it be 4, 6? Well, no, it can't be 4, 6 because I'm already putting the 6 in it to make me need 10. So hang on. If it is, can it be 1, 9? No. That is interesting. So if this has got 6 in it, it must go with 3, 7. That would be 7. That would be 6. That would be 3. That almost looks likely to me, because that would resolve the 3, 2, 2. This would be a 1. I don't know. I can't disprove that, which makes me think it might be correct. In fact, look, these are from 1, 2, and 3, and that's not 3, and that's not 2. So how do we finish this off? Can I? Maybe I can do it a different way. Can this be 9? Oh no, it can't be 9 because there's a 9 in the column. Oh, for goodness sake, Simon. That's not actually going to resolve my 16, but it would have been a quicker way of getting another digit in the grid. Right, this column needs 1, 4, 5, 7. So this cell is a 1 or a 5, and if that's a 1 or a 5, that's a 1-5 pair. So this is a 4 or a 7, which doesn't, I think, tell me about this digit. It might do, if obviously if that's a 7 it would, but it doesn't have to be a 7. Okay, so it's being a bit difficult now. It's all going to be about this 16 cage and thinking about this 16 cage in the correct way, which I'm failing to do. There's no 1 in my 16 cage, I've just noticed. And there's no 9 in it. It can have 8 in it though still. Right, maybe the way to approach this is to look at this row. Where we need... Oh, there's a 3 in it, is there? Ah, that I hadn't appreciated. Okay, so there is a. If you look at this row, we have to put 3 into the 16 cage. So we know we need 2 more digits that add up to 13. Now we can't put 9 in here at all. So there's now we actually know there is no 4 in there, which removes 4 from this position, which places 4 in this row. No, it doesn't. We have already got 4 in this row. We already knew there wasn't a 4 in this box. So I was announcing things of total non-consequence. Okay, so 4 is in one of these 2 cells I'm seeing. That's really unhelpful. Okay, so this is, if this is 8, 5, the 8 goes here, the 3 goes here, the 5 goes, oh, that fixes it. Right, so the way to do this with some sort of aplomb, which I failed to do utterly, is to notice that 3 has to be in it, then realise you've got to make 13 for the other digits, then realise it doesn't have 9 in it, then consider whether 8 goes in it. If it does, it goes there. That forces this to be the 3 and forces this to be a 5, which it can't be. So we've now learned the nature of this box. It is 3, 6 and 7. And look, there's a lovely 7 there, which is going to help us. So that becomes 7. This becomes 3 and 6. We can do all sorts of 7-age in certain positions. Look, that gives me the 4 here at long last. This is 3, 6, so that's become a 1. That's become a 6. That's become a 5. That's become a 5. That's become a 1. That's become an 8. That's become a 5. That's become a 7. Have we got more that we can say about the world now? Probably. Let's look at this row where we need 1, 3 and 6. That cell is a 3 or a 6 apparently, which is quite interesting because that gives me a 3, 6 pair and sorts all this out. So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 2. That square's got to be a 5, which at least is working. This has got to be a 1, 8 pair, which is resolved. That gets me the 8, the 2, the 2, the 3. Finally, I get the 6 and the 3 sorted out. That's probably been available in a different way for a while, and that gives me a 3 as the final digit. What a beautiful puzzle. Loved it. The Wings of Pentagon by Niverio. I don't quite understand the title, but what I can tell you is that business with the with this and this, these cells here, was just sublime. It is completely beautiful to build in bent triples to resolve this pattern. And after that, it was still a lovely puzzle, but that break-in is it is sublime. Niverio loved it. Hope you guys had a go. Hope you enjoyed it too. Let me know in the comments. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.